There is nothing wrong with your internet. Do not attempt to adjust your settings. We are controlling the podcast. We control the squealing and the screams. We can make your heart flutter, your eyes blur from tears, or sharpen your mind to crystal clarity. For the next hour, sit back. We are in control of what you hear. We repeat, there is nothing wrong with your settings. You are about to experience the awe and mystery known as the female mind. You are now entering the Fangirl Zone. Hello everyone and welcome to SyFy Talk on the Fangirl Zone, a podcast where we discuss shows on the SyFy channel. I'm Sean, Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve, and tonight we'll be discussing the Season 2 finale of Van Helsing.
It was just too soon.
Absolutely too soon.
I wasn't ready. Oh, okay. Well, you got ratings for us, though.
Yes. Episode 13 brought in a 0.14 in adults 18 to 49 with 0.477 million viewers, making it the 98th rated cable show of the day.
It's not bad. It's not great, but it's not bad.
Right. It's still hovering around that 500,000 viewers, so the Live Plus 7 will push it over.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. Whenever we see a Live Plus 7, because we still haven't seen one since December 4th.
That's weird.
The week after the 4th.
Somebody went on vacation again.
Apparently.
Wish I could go on vacation somewhere warm.
Yeah, no, I saw that they had posted the Live Plus 3 days for this, I guess 2 weeks ago.
Oh.
And that's been the first post on DVR ratings since the week of the 4th through the 10th. So maybe we'll see something coming up now.
That's kind of weird, though.
Yes, it is. Very weird that it'd be a whole month like that.
Well, did I tell you I managed to get more people into Van Helsing?
Nice.
Yes, I keep talking about it at work. I'm like, you should totally watch this. And so a couple of my pharmacists have decided that they're going to watch it. And they powered through season 1. And we're halfway through season 2. I'm like, how did you watch all of this so quickly?
That's a long weekend.
Right? I don't know. They did better than me.
Right.
But shall we jump into episode 13? Dun dun dun.
Let's do it.
Black Days. At a mountain stronghold, secrets of the Van Helsing family are unearthed and the true face of evil is exposed. A climactic battle between humans and vampires leaves humanity's fate in question. That sounds a lot more ominous than I felt like it was. I mean, there was a lot of cool stuff, but we are basically down to, 5 people for this episode that we're seeing.
Right.
So, I don't know. Is it just me? That just sounded really ominous.
Yeah, it really did. And yeah, it was kind of ominous, but it just didn't quite feel right because the whole cast wasn't involved in it. It was, like you said, 5 people.
Yeah. I don't know. Budget cuts. Okay, so we had Dimitri not knowing where the crypt is. Good. I was happy with that. But he had to go visit the Oracle. And I find it very interesting how much of a jackass he is.
Yeah, he sure was.
Yeah. Well, he gets his comeuppance, though, because he's told to kneel. He's like, I am not kneeling to this old woman. She's all out of breath even walking over, and then she hands him his ass.
Yeah.
I loved that. And I'm like, you might looking at me and thinking, oh, that wasn't right. No, he deserved it. He's been a jerk and totally underestimating people, especially the women in this show. He deserved to get his ass beat.
Oh, absolutely. That made me squee with joy. I went, yes! Take that, Dimitri.
Then a little bit more when he gets his information. She still brands him, so it's like he hurt some more, so I wasn't crying about that either.
No. And then she goes, oh, well, you can only take 2 people with you. So he selects Scab and Ivory, and she just goes to town on the rest of the people there.
Now that I was a little surprised about.
Yeah, she's just had a party, man. She just was pigging out big time.
Now, do you think she did that because he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, I'll come back for you, and he had been a jerk at the beginning, or this was kind of the plan all along?
I believe that was the Oracle's plan all along.
Okay.
Was, if you don't come with the right number, I get to feed on the rest.
Interesting.
And that apparently was a bit of information that Dimitri either ignored or didn't know.
I don't know. Do you think Ivory shared that? Or was she kind of pissed anyway because she'd lost some of her sisters?
I'm sure she was upset that she had lost some of her sisters. So, it wouldn't surprise me if she just happened to keep that bit of information from him.
Happened to forget that part conveniently.
Right. I'm not going to give you the whole truth. I'll just give you the part that I want you to know.
The Cliff Notes version. But I was a little disappointed because we do have Scarlett and Abigail in this, but we don't have Vanessa at all.
Right, until the very end, which was
kind of weird.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think I had asked you before, do you think we didn't have her that much towards the end because she was much further along in the pregnancy than would have allowed her to do a lot of these stunts?
I believe so. That's got to be the only reason that we haven't seen her in most of the back half of the season. I mean, we had the one episode with her in it, but out of the last 6, it was just that one, I believe.
Yeah. So you could tell in that episode, too, when they went to the stunt double for the fighting.
Right.
So, we wish her, all the luck in the world having the baby.
Yes.
So, but let's go back to who we do have. Scarlett and Abigail on the mountain. And so very, again, ominous with it because they're looking at the mountain. They're like, that's where we need to go. And Scarlett kind of has an attitude, which I'm not surprised, first of all. I mean, she just found out that she had a sister, and now she finds out her mom's still alive. So I guess, you're taking a lot of things on faith at this point. And she didn't seem too happy that her mom was alive. And not so much that she was alive, but that she didn't know what had happened to Scarlett. Like, she sent her away to keep her safe, and she does explain that. But I think Scarlett was kind of ticked that she didn't keep better tabs on everything.
Right.
But I mean, even Abigail said, I thought you were dead. So the Harkers did a really good job covering their tracks to keep her safe.
Yes, they did. They did their job.
Yeah, exactly what they were supposed to do. So, I mean, I can get it, but at least she was a little more skeptical than Vanessa was when we did see her this season.
Yes.
I still kind of feel like Vanessa wouldn't have been quite so open-armed, but whatever.
Right. It was funny because this is kind of the attitude we expected from Vanessa.
Right. But we get it from Scarlett. I'm okay. At least one of them is like, I don't know if I could trust you.
Right.
So they're not all like, yay, mommy. But anyway, we have Abigail trying to talk to Scarlett a little, and she's got a vial around her neck. Now, I was thinking that this weird little vial had something to do with the girls. Like maybe it was their blood, or somehow it was like whatever virus was introduced. But we find out it's the blood of the Dark One that she was gifted. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, and we get the flashback with Abigail and her mom.
Was it her mom, or was that actually her grandmother? Because I thought she said that she got that when her mom died.
Right. Yeah, it probably was her grandmother because she actually tried to...
Try to get her with an axe!
Yeah.
That's not something... Okay, now, I've had my problems with my grandmother on occasion, but never has she come at me with an axe.
Right. Or have you, neither have you been so moved to go at her with an axe.
Correct. But as you watch this flashback, it's like, what in the hell is happening? It was the weirdest thing. Because then young Abigail jumps up and has, was it a fork or a knife to her throat?
Right.
And so apparently she passed the test, whatever that was. So she didn't pass. She'd have just like cleaved her granddaughter in two. How do you... I don't understand. I just don't.
No. Not at all.
Okay.
And of course, I wasn't buying the whole, I did experiments on it when I was at the farm, but I never exposed you two girls to it.
Well, when they go back and you see her as a child and that she kind of had really great reflexes, I'm thinking maybe they were just born with it, that it was something in their bloodline. So maybe she didn't expose them directly, but maybe it was like way back when the Dark One came into play with the Van Helsings, that somehow it got merged into their blood at that point. That's what I'm thinking.
That is a possibility. That is a possibility.
I mean, I don't think that previous Van Helsings ever tried to bite any of the vampires, so maybe they all were able to do it and they didn't know.
Right.
That's my tinfoil hat theory of the day.
You're just sticking with it.
Just for today. We'll see what happens next season. Maybe they'll explain it. But yeah, it is kind of odd. It's like, okay, she didn't. We still had our fake Abigail telling Vanessa that she accidentally injected herself, which I don't believe that.
No, I don't either.
And if she did it, I don't feel it was an accident at all.
No.
But she does kind of tell her a little bit more about what happened in the past, but like it seemed to happen off screen. So we know that she told her more, but we don't know everything that she told her.
Right.
Which kind of sucks.
Yeah, and we get some of it once they get up into the crypt. We find out a little bit more.
Right. But they were beaten to the crypt by Dimitri.
Of course.
Well, they do have vampire speed, so they're assuming. But man, does Dimitri not look like crap right now?
Yeah, he's not eating as well as he used to. So yeah, he's looking more like Scab than Dimitri.
Yes, it looked horrible. And, well, they make their way in, and Scarlett and Abigail finally get in there. And it's like, oh, great, what's happening? Because they keep hearing, like, yelling from far off. And we see that Dimitri and the crew are having these hallucinations. And that's when we get a little backstory for Scarlett and Abigail. Because Abigail doesn't seem to want to talk about anything. And there was a moment when there was a flashback that I thought Abigail might have been a hallucination. It's because they had to, like, squeeze down a tunnel.
Right.
And Scarlett says that she's afraid of, like, tight spaces. Which I kind of want to know what happened there, because I feel like that has to be a thing.
Yeah, I think so.
And when she comes out, for a minute, I was thinking Abigail wasn't actually there, that she was a hallucination. And that we were going to see some really weird things happen.
Right.
But we see the flashbacks of when Vanessa and Scarlett are small, and when they started to show the abilities that they had, and how our dear Dr. Bruce showed a little too much interest. I'm like, okay, that's not creepy at all, Doc.
No, not at all.
Yeah, okay.
And that's funny because he goes flying across the room.
No means no, Doc. She said she don't want you.
That's right.
She doesn't want you poking her with a needle. Don't touch her. But it was really interesting, too, when we see the vampire visions.
Yes, those were very interesting, to say the least.
When we see Scab, and now we know why he was called Scab.
Right.
And that actually surprised me a lot.
Yeah, and it also definitely gave people more reason to at least have feelings towards Scab.
I felt bad for him. I'm like, I don't want to feel bad for him. He's a bad guy. I don't want to feel bad. But yeah, when you see that he was tortured, but not physically tortured necessarily, but he was kind of mentally and emotionally abused because he crossed the picket line to try to get a job, and then he got hired. Well, obviously, the union guys weren't taking that very well. But then at the end, when we see that he was locked up in, it looked like a supply closet.
Right.
And he starts screaming that it's the weekend and I have claustrophobia and I can't be in here for the weekend. I'm going to die. And it makes me wonder if this happened like right at the time of the Rising.
It wouldn't surprise me.
And so that was just, yeah. I never wanted to feel sorry for him.
No.
Oh, man.
But Scott, yeah, you had a rough run of it, that's for sure.
Yeah. And then Ivory, too. Now, I wasn't sure if she was supposed to be, like, over in England, if she was supposed to be somewhere in the colonies.
I kind of took it as, yes, she was in the colonies, and more than likely, she looked pretty much Indian.
Yeah.
At least that was what I took out of it, was that she was at least Indian, and more than likely was the medicine woman for her tribe, and that's why they had captured her and was either going to burn her at the stake or convert her to
Christianity, because I think it was Protestant,
right.
if I can remember correctly. And then they're throwing oil on her, but they're talking about if she converts and becomes a sister, then she'll be spared. And I was like, I wonder if that's why they took that when they were changed. They took it up as the sisters because they were all basically tortured way back.
Right. It's very possible.
It's like, okay, you perverted everything about my country, and now I'm going to pervert your little religious thing. But the weirdest one had to be Dimitri.
Yes, it did.
Just because I'm like, all right, we knew he had weird kink, but because he was into his sister, which he actually says, because we find out that he spent a lot of time, apparently, with the Marquis de Sade.
Yeah.
Okay, you freak.
Yeah. Big time.
And especially when he's, like, at this point talking about his sister, he's like, I need to come to you because I need more. And because I feel something for my sister. And the Marquis is like, well, why don't you take her? She's like, no, she's much too innocent and young and pure. I'm like, ew.
Yeah, apparently that didn't last too long.
Well, he at least let her grow up.
Yeah, at least.
I have no...
Maybe.
Oh, God, it was just like, I need a shower. Like, it had that, like, super creep factor. And apparently, like, their kink level went up to, like, 11. Okay. They went right past 10.
Yeah.
And that's how he became a vampire, apparently, because nothing would satisfy his deviance.
Right.
And so the Marquis is like, let me introduce you to somebody else.
Yeah.
And you just see the creepy hand. He finally at least had the decency to look frightened.
Yes.
Because you had creepy long fingers coming over. It's like, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
And he comes out of his without a problem. Now, what is your theory on that? That he came out of his vision because he was in his place willingly and then basically accepted what happened to him?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, this wasn't really a nightmare to him like it was to Scott and Ivory.
Okay.
Those were horrible things that happened to him. Well, this is basically his origin story.
Ugh.
He wanted it.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Creep. Anyway.
Yeah, now he may not have originally wanted to become a vampire, but he sure took advantage of it when he did.
Yeah. So we know he's from quite a ways back. Abigail and Scarlet have a few more visits to the past. And I think Scarlet's finally coming to terms with everything because you see a couple different times, I have to leave you. It's the only way you'll be safe. And we seen what she did to the doctor and trying to say, all right, there's several elders. They can't come together because that would be really bad.
Yeah.
And this one's here because, we put him here. It's like, okay. But I failed to mention, Scarlet made Abigail tell her exactly where the key was, which I know you and I talked about this with Vanessa.
Right.
It's like, why didn't she just ask that? So, yeah, she was skeptical. But I think she was even skeptical to the end here where we're finding out that the elders are there to bring about the final darkness and release the Dark One. It's like, it's so dramatic. And
yes.
The Van Helsings can never let that happen. You just needed some, like, organ music.
Right.
Because it will mean everyone will literally die. All done.
Yep.
And she still, though, kind of had this look like, are you serious? It's all based on our family line, so what if we all die out? Are they getting out? What's happening? It was kind of interesting because it made me wonder, they didn't exactly say how many, like, elders there were.
Elders there are, right. Is it 4? Is it 12?
Right. Is the answer 42?
Yeah.
So, I want to know, in the final darkness, what do you think it is?
Well, of course. It's got to be something just as bad as Jack the Ripper or Dracula or something.
That's interesting. What if it's just some kind
pure
of
evil?
Well, I'm just wondering if it's just some kind of
Laurel and Hardy. He comes out and does his little dance.
Oh, jeez. Some kind of weird plague that just like wipes everyone out. But then the vampires would all die too because they're like, crap, I got nothing to eat. So if you wipe out the people, you're still not going to eat. Think about it.
Right. And how the hell did Abigail get a hold of a vial of the Dark One's blood?
Right.
And how did the Van Helsing family get a hold of that even?
Yeah, it doesn't seem to make sense. So how long have they had
there's still
this?
some family history that we haven't been made purview to yet.
I hope they actually explore that, though.
I do, too.
Well.
But, of course, if Abigail doesn't survive the crypt, then there goes that opportunity for backstory.
Well, I don't know. We can always have flashbacks.
True.
That they don't.
If they actually, if the sisters actually can get back together and really realize their power.
Like together,
then maybe. And maybe what happened at the end will cause that to accelerate.
I didn't think about that. Now, the women made it to the crypt first, which I thought was kind of weird. And they never passed the little evil trio. It's like they took a shortcut.
Yeah, well, apparently Abigail had been in there before.
Oh, see, I hadn't even caught that.
Yeah, she had to know. I mean, she knew about it. So, yeah, I have a feeling that she knew exactly how to get there. Now, maybe she hadn't been there, but it was passed down from either her mom or a grandmother that basically gave her a map to imprint in her brain.
I did not even, catch that at all.
That's the only way they could have beaten them there.
Well, because they went down that tunnel, and you didn't see that happen to the evil trio.
No.
Maybe the tunnel or the cave takes you different ways.
Right. And plus, both Scab and Ivory had to deal with their horrible past, which took a lot more time to get out of that funk than seeing your mom leave you.
Yeah. And Dimitri is the one who kind of pulled them each out, which was interesting that he was able to pull them out. Maybe he's like, embrace it. But the ladies get there and kind of talking a little bit, and here comes Dimitri and crew. It's like, oh, hey, where's Vanessa, huh? It's like, oh, you need to be slapped for that. And he was just, again, smug. Have you not learned anything? Have you not learned from the Oracle not to have that attitude?
No. Did not learn a thing, and it's going to bite him in the ass here real soon.
Yeah, because he's like, it's Vanessa's fault that he woke up. We're just letting him go. No big deal. Yeah, okay. And then fighting ensues. And why does Scab want a piece of Scarlet so bad? It just didn't seem like they had interactions at all this season.
Right, they didn't.
But he is hardcore trying to get a piece of Scarlet.
Yeah, and that didn't make any sense to me either, because I would have figured that Ivory would have said, no, you go get Mom, Scarlet's mine.
Right, because
after what she did to
her sister.
Her crew.
Yeah.
Right.
That I can understand.
Right.
But Ivory seemed to be like, yeah, I'm going to go take care of Mom. Never mind, you take her. And Dimitri just stands there like, interesting. Why aren't you fighting? You deserve to just have your head cut off because you're annoying me.
Yes.
Standing there like the king of all. I guess he's so used to being basically the leader and not having to get his hands dirty until, well, he basically had to.
Right.
Because then he grabbed Scarlet by the throat and he's like, you need to open that, Mom, or baby girl here is not going to make it. And Scarlet, I thought, was going to grab a knife and cut off his hand again. I really thought that was happening.
Right.
Alas, no. But Abigail's like, fine, I'll do it. And she takes her blood because she got cut in the fight with Ivory. And she puts her hands in very convenient hand marks.
Right.
And pushes, and then suddenly this thing opens. It's like, what? All you needed to do is put my hands in there? But it basically implied, it didn't officially say it, but it really hardcore implied that because she opened it, she was going to die. It's not like she was bleeding out. She probably could have been, healed.
Yeah, the only way to open the crypt was through a Van Helsing, and that Van Helsing would die.
Now, did it have to be some kind of curse or something?
I think it's just because of the way that they put the elder in there.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it didn't make a whole lot of sense that if this was a Van Helsing thing, then why would a Van Helsing have to die to let it out?
Right.
Well, I guess it's because you don't want this elder finding the other elders and then finding the dark one. So there had to be a damn good reason for you to let this one out.
But then if that's the case, why did they even go there? Because there's no way Dimitri would have gotten in.
Exactly. He'd have just stood there and had to play with himself.
He'd like touch it. Open. Open. Yeah. It didn't make a whole lot of sense there. I feel like they cut something that would have at least pieced that together.
Right. I agree with you. There probably was a scene that got cut that gives us a little bit better explanation of all this.
Because, heck, I'd have just, oh, okay, we're here. Oh, they're already there. Let's try to get this key out and they're screwed then.
Right.
They're all stuck in there. But didn't work out that way. But the elder does recognize the Van Helsings. Well, actually, he recognized Abigail.
Right.
Yeah.
And he was going to chow down.
Which is interesting because he says something about, what is it, the blood of the first.
Yes.
And it's like, so did she maybe drink some of it or inject it? I mean, that's what we were talking about. Like, I didn't think she did it to her kid. So I'm thinking if it isn't a trait that maybe she did do something to herself.
Right.
And she didn't know she was pregnant.
Yep.
But again, another interesting point, Scarlett's like, stop. And he does. How the hell does she know to say it? And how does mom not know? Because then suddenly
that would have happened.
Yeah.
Right.
Because suddenly
Absolutely.
mom decides to say something. It's like, what? Again? Did you cut a scene?
Yeah. Why would you not tell your daughter this up front? This is what's going to happen if this happens.
Right. Because, okay, here's a little something we didn't know about. The Van Helsings that captured the elder gave him a choice. He can protect the Van Helsing line or he can die. Well, he's still kicking, so I guess that means he chose to protect the Van Helsing.
Yes.
So if that's the case, then why did you even lock him up? Because he's like a guard dog.
Would have made all this running and hiding so much easier.
I'm so confused.
As soon as Dr. Bruce starts after the girls, Abigail says, sicky.
Right. So, okay, well, he knows that. And it was like, damn it, I thought nobody remembered, is kind of the look on his face.
Right.
And so, all right, well, now you are going to be Mr. Gopher. And the first thing is, hey, why don't you take care of Dimitri? And we find out that is Dimitri's master, the one that turned him.
Right.
So Dimitri's like, come on, man, you're not doing this. You're great. You're my boy. You're my boy, Blue. I love you. And he's like, I'm so sorry. I hate them so much. And cracks his head like a melon.
Yeah. And you want to go, yay! Yes, yes, yes.
I was sitting there going, did that just happen?
Right. What a way to go out.
Yeah, it was pretty intense. And he was just really, the elder was just so pissed.
Yeah.
I'll never forgive you. You're a vampire. They don't care. They want to kill you anyway.
Yeah.
But then this is when I started to get confused because this is what you were talking about earlier. So after that's all done, and apparently Scab and Ivory beat feet out of there.
Yeah. They ran as soon as the elder was released.
She's like, go find Vanessa. He's like, I don't hear her anymore. She's like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's how you want to play it? So she like cuts herself and then stabs him in the stomach. Do you feel her now? I was like, all right, so she's a little testy, obviously. And he's like, oh, yes, now I feel her. He's like, go find Vanessa. Now, I feel like it's going to be one of those things, and this is what we were talking about at work, that, like, the deal with the devil, if you don't have it very specific,
right,
that it doesn't count.
Yes.
Because
you have to say, find Vanessa and bring her to me.
Unharmed.
Yes.
Yes, because he's like, well, I found her. Ha ha ha. You didn't tell me what else to do, is what it felt like.
Right.
But before he gets there, we're getting Scarlet like, Mom, I can save you. Why didn't she, like, bite her?
Right.
To see if that would help her, like, it ended up helping Scarlet after Vanessa bit her. I feel like it was worth a shot.
Yeah, but she does try to do something similar by cutting her wrist and putting it against her mom's mouth.
Yeah, but if she's already kind of gone, because she's like, Mom, tell me what's the other secrets? What is it? Mom. It's like, oh, she called her mom. But Abigail at least gets her to take the vial of blood, but that's about it. And we don't know if any of the blood from her wrist actually went in her mouth, down her throat kind of thing. But again, Vanessa didn't draw blood from herself to give to Scarlett. She just bit her, so I'm assuming it was in the saliva.
Right.
That's why I'm like, just freaking bite her or something. Although, you bite me, I'd be like, what the hell are you doing?
I'm saving you, Mom.
Right.
Right?
But we do have the Elder finding the facility, which is in just ruins at this point, is what it looks like. And nobody seems to be around. Or do you think it's the Elder came in and kind of took everybody that was there out? Because I wasn't 100% sure with that.
Right. It's hard to say because I still want to say that our young super kid that can survive all the apocalypses was talking to somebody.
Oh, so like maybe...
And I still think that was Dr. Bruce.
Oh, okay.
Now, granted, they may be on their way, they may have ran and jumped in their copters and was flying to base there.
Yeah, you had said that last week. I forgot about that.
Right. So that may be why the place was deserted.
Yeah, not like she was going anywhere.
Because somebody had put Vanessa on that bed because when the last time we saw her, she was on the ground.
Mm-hmm. And that's when the Elder decides, well, she didn't tell me I couldn't take a bite. And she does. And, well, she opens her eyes again, kind of like full circle at this point, how we find her in season 1 to how she's ending in season 2, asleep on a slab in a coma. Right. But her eyes turned red. So now what does this mean? Is she going the way of the vampire? Is something changing because that crazy lady, our Fangirl, kind of like actually killed her and she had to come back from it? There's a lot of things that I have a big question mark about.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And this was a cliffhanger that really wasn't a cliffhanger, but God dang, there's so many questions that need to be answered.
Right. I don't even know. I'm assuming we're going to get more episodes next season because I don't know how you're going to give us all these answers.
Yeah.
Then again, they're probably like...
Sure they said another 13-episode season.
I need more. Yeah. All right. Well, what do you guys think? We want to hear from you. We want to know all of your thoughts on this because I cannot be the only one that's like, okay, that didn't make sense. What about this? What about that? Shoot us an email at syfytalk@fangirlzone.com because we do want to know, and I'd be happy to share it on the website or the Facebook page or whatever if you want. Or if you just want us to answer your question, we can do that too. And while you're at it, if you can rate and review us on iTunes and all the other podcatchers that you're finding us at, because good ratings and reviews help other fans of the show find us. Tell your friends. We do hope you're enjoying the podcast. And it's been a crazy season for Van Helsing. So for this episode, the season finale of Van Helsing, I'm Sean Fangirl S.
And I'm Steve. So that's why we're a couple of freaks. Because you decided to expose us to that before we were even born?
And until next time.